Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Collective. I am Dale Salvador, and this is Dream Theater with a dramatic turn of events. And this is a tough one for me, somewhat. Dream Theater is one of my favorite bands. Despite me not listening to all of their albums, which I do plan to do, just through whatever circumstances or so, I've never got to all of them. This is one of the few that I haven't gotten to. Um, I haven't listened to all their stuff, like I said, but I've listened to a good majority of it. So I feel like, um, at least a lot of what I'm going to say, kind of, if I haven't listened to any Dream Theater, right, wouldn't hold any fucking water. But because I am a big fan, and I've been listening to them for the past many years, good 7 or so, since early high school. And I listened to a majority of their stuff. They're up all the way back from Dreaming Day Unite up until their most recent albums as of date, which would be Distance Over Time, the one after that, which I forget the name of. I think I'm able to have a bit of leeway here, and here's the thing. A lot of people think that, well, not a lot of people, but I see certain people who would definitely say it is one of their best albums, if not the best, like the Music Snob. But there are still a lot of fans who put this album in really high regard, like if not the top 2 or so, like top 5 or so. The hell are you guys thinking? I'm real honest. I do not understand to a degree. So, at least for me, well, in general, right? There's a lot of core parts of Dream Theater, right? There's there's very specific reasons why they're renowned and what makes them great, right? Like everyone knows, it's first of all, it's the writing chops, as everyone knows. They are all phenomenal at their own instruments. One of the best guitarists in the world, one of the best drummers in the world, so on and so forth. So they have the virtuosic chops for all of the days. Another one of the things is just, in progressive metal and rock, I guess, yeah, I guess you can call them progressive rock for some things. They have released some really, really legendary, groundbreaking, and landmark albums like Metropolis Part 1, Part 2. Since from Memory is one of the examples. Very boundary pushing with stuff like The Astonishing, etc., 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 right? And compositionally, they're able to do a lot of technical stuff, but still do it in a way where it's good. They know when to stop, right? Like, I think Octavarium, for example, is one of their best albums, if not the best. They're like, the only one better than Octavarium to me is Sings from Memory, right? Because with the concept and everything, it all works in the songs, and they know when to slow down. You get everything. You get the title track. You still get, actually the whole review on the album. You should check it out instead of listening to me blabble on about it. Because we're here to talk about this one. And this one is basically, I think, where a lot of the modern criticisms for the band started. Where they're at, okay, composition is cool. Boundary pushing is cool. All that kind of stuff. I know we're a progressive metal band, but now that we got a formula, let's just do the same shit. And they're doing the same stuff. And they're like, hey, people really like how fast we can play. Let's just do that a bunch. And people like how, many weird changes we can put into songs. Let's do that for a while. So here's the thing, right? The first 2 songs are great. Best songs of the album, by far. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyways, best songs of the album by far, for sure, by far. Why is the camera not focusing? Which would be On the Backs of Angels, and then You Build Me Up, You Break Me Down. And with those 2 songs, they're really good. With the first song, On the Backs of Angels, it's not amazing. The verse and the chorus is incredibly catchy. It's great, but the problem is everything else. the little solos here and there, the in betweens, all that kind of stuff. Everything except for the intro is just kind of there, and they do this a lot where they have little instrumental sections where they're all just doing their own thing. And for albums like Metropolis Part 1, you can go anywhere and every single part of that album is great. Even Octavarium, even when Octavarium, the song, doing all these crazy things, every one of those little mini solos and little mini sections are really good. And in this, they're just kind of there. Again, besides the intro, where the intro riff is the first part of it, really cool. And this really weird tail that's kind of cool, I guess, is kind of there. And then the rest of the little pieces in between are just it's just not there at all, really. They're just, it's just standard, oh, let's have a crazy virtuosic solo here, crazy virtuosic solo here, and we'll connect it with our bridges and choruses and all that kind of stuff. You Build Me Up, You Break Me Down is also really good. I know I showed on the first song a lot. I'm not saying it's horrible. It's just good. I'd probably say this first song itself is like a 6 or 7 out of 10. The mix on this album is great. I just wish they did more interesting things instrumentally. On the second track, we get a little bit of that, actually. We get some new metal stylish electronics here and there that actually work pretty well. They don't sound out of place. They don't sound really dated that much, if at all. And it's a lot more catchy. And the bits in the middle make more sense. And I had high hopes. I actually reacted to this full album, and it's not on YouTube because copyright, but it'll be on Patreon soon after this video is done. So be sure to check that out if you want. On the Patreon, everything is free there. You can pay in support if you want, but all the things that I reacted to are free to watch anyways. So with all the tracks after these two, holy shit, I was very much let down. Very much so. I'm gonna take a drink, sorry. I was very much let down. Beyond this point, there was very little, and it got, already by the third song, which I forget the name, there's almost nothing there. And there was at least, a little part that was cool here and there. By the fourth track and onwards, it was nothing. And for tracks being 10 minutes long or 6 minute long, they felt like twice as long. This album felt like a slog to get through, because the two big problems with this album is I heard if they're just doing things for the sake of doing them. You have all these crazy virtuosic sections, but they're just kind of there. Again with songs like Dance for Eternity, all the parts on their own are incredibly good, but with these songs, they're just not. They're nothing's catchy, nothing's grabbing me, nothing seems different. There's very little that seems different. There's one section in one of the later songs, I think it's Breaking All Illusions or the one before. It's later on in the album where they're doing these arpeggios and stuff, but it's just the bass and the drums, which sounds really cool. But that's the only time they're doing anything really different. That's not bad. I think it was the third track or the fourth track. They start with this Inuit and throat singing, some kind of throat singing, and then it goes right into Gregorian gospel choir stuff, which I'll give them this. Going from one to the other was incredibly fucking jarring, but then they have the throat singing come back in the background of the mix underneath the chanting, underneath the choir section, I mean, and that actually worked well. But still, to go from throat singing and then it ends and then fucking choirs and stuff, it was very, very odd choice. I mean, it was kind of a whiplash kind of thing. And again, the song was boring and long and stuff. In Breaking All, this is where I'm gonna really annoy people. In Breaking All Illusions, right? That is the third song that everyone really likes and really craves and praises, I do not see it at all. There's two things. So I assumed it was gonna be one of their big instrumental jams, like Dance of Eternity, like Enigma Machine. They have a couple others that are like that. I can't remember, but they're Extreme Consciousness, I think, etc., etc. But it was just one of their other songs. It was literally by this point in the reaction in this album, I could literally predict like what was gonna happen. I was like, oh, is James gonna come with the vocals right now? Oh yeah, cool. There. Oh, it's gonna have this bridge. Okay, cool. I literally just started skipping songs, like not skipping songs. I started skipping parts. I was skimming the song at this point because I was there for over an hour, and I was hating every second. And with Breaking All Illusions, the other problem specifically with this song is that people were. I checked the comments on the video. People were saying like John's solo was like his best solo. No, it isn't. He's had actually. There's actually a lot of good solos on A Change of Seasons. I even feel like there were some, even Metropolis Part One. We're talking about the same types of solos. Like the ending of Octavarium. A Change of Seasons. Like those are very epic. Grandiose, finale kind of solos with that kind of soothing aspect to them as well, Great examples. So I can already tell you it's not his best solo because those ones exist already. Those exist. Therefore, by default, it is not his best. The other problem with most of the other songs on this album, but kind of all of them, it's incredibly formulaic, like a lot. Like the Dream Theater, there's the Dream Theater songs, which is let's do a whole bunch of crazy shit, and then even again for Backs of Angels, Build Me Up, Breaking All Illusions, they all have the same format, or at least a very very close clone of the same format. So again, I can predict what's gonna happen in all the songs pretty much. Like, oh, here's the chorus, here's the bridge, here's a dumb virtuoso section, here's this up here, all that kind of stuff. And then the couple ballads on this album, they I feel like they're trying to be sentimental, but it's not working because again it seems formulaic. Like, oh, it's a ballad, we gotta be in this key that all ballads are in. We gotta have the piano intro, we gotta have the strings at the back half, and all this stuff, and it just doesn't come across good. I feel like they're focusing way less on composition and making interesting melodies and all that kind of stuff. And they're just like, oh, we need a sad section, pick sad key, do stuff, and or we need a virtuosic section for the ending. Well, and we need a big finish. Let's add a cymbal crash. Let's add some orchestral hits. Let's add your stereotypical kind of souls at the end, and all. It's just like very formulaic, and the I don't want to say soul and passion, but the feeling isn't there. I think the very last track is the only other track I kind of liked, and it was good, a bit basic, a bit commercial, but it was at least interesting. At least it was somewhat catchy, unlike everything else. So I don't know. Y'all get some bitter taste. I don't know. uh, I don't want. Look it. I don't hate the band. I love the band a lot, but I also, because of that, have some standards for the band, and this did not meet those standards. I will say this album was mixed very well, especially the acoustic guitar sections. Very nice. I feel like the piano is a bit odd, like when they did the classical piano stuff, right? It's kind of odd because I don't know what it was in the mix, but it's not that it was quiet, but it felt distant or something. It's hard to explain. It's almost like maybe I think maybe a DK was like nothing, because the individual notes seem to fade a bit very quickly. Why is it something burning? What the hell? I gotta finish this quick and see if something's burning. I don't think so. I just cooked, but turned everything off and put everything away. So, anyways, Yeah, I feel like the piano sounds really weird. It sounds kind of, it sounds rich. It sounds like a very nice piano, but it also sounds flat at the same time. It's very odd. But yeah, like it's still everything still sounds great beyond that. Drums sound great. Guitar tones sound great. Nice and heavy. Um, but I feel like again, with in terms of you know the compositions, there's a big step down, and the feeling behind them was not there. I feel like it was just some formulas and some stereotypes, I guess. And again, for being a progressive metal band, they're not being progressive here. They're just doing the same thing, kind of half-assed, like 9 times, and they do the same ballad, kind of half-assed, like 3 times. That's kind of it. That's the album. That's it. It feels very long, longer than it should, to be honest. Besides the ballads, like the actual other songs, um, they're all the songs are like at least like 8 minutes, like around there. Like Breaking All Illusions is 12, and I don't think it deserves that runtime at all. They're so long for not a lot of substance, really. Um, yes, they can play. We know you guys can play. We know that. And even from even from, I'm not a big theory guy, but it didn't seem like they were doing a lot of music theory, a lot of cool things with that either compositionally. Like usually I'm not a big theory person, but I can tell if there's like a weird chord change, or if there's like again the intro octave area. You don't got to be a theory person. No, those are very weird chord changes, the weird modulation on that synth they're doing, right? From those three keys, or those three chords or so, right? But on this album, it all kind of felt stale. Like they're like, I feel like some songs, they're just kind of throwing you off every couple seconds with time signatures just to do it. But again, just time signatures really, or just different riffs, more different riffs than just time signatures. I don't think there's a lot of time signature changes or a lot of music theory that was being interestingly used. Just a lot of like riff dumping. We got all these kind of okay riffs and mediocre riffs and all that kind of stuff. Let's just throw them all together. We got some songs, and it's like back to back to back to back to back, little ideas of these instrumental sections, and none of them are really that great, you know. And that's kind of it. I'm thinking 3 or 4, maybe more 3. I'll say a 4. Why not? Out of 10. I feel like again, it's Dream Theater. They can play really well. The album's mixed very well, but there's a lot of formulaic shit on this album. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't really feel like it has passion behind it, and they're just kind of doing it by the numbers. And it's an incredibly sloggy album. That's about it. I'm going to eat the food I just finished making, and I'm going to probably watch some MasterChef. I might even do another video tonight. Who knows? I might even go live. Who knows? Um, we'll see. I do want to do an artist spotlight on Utsup. I do want to. I might go live because there's a lot of music. What I've been thinking of doing lately is for a lot of the music I've been trying to listen to for the past while and not ever getting to it. I might start doing that live, where I listen to a whole bunch of music live and just go through all this stuff. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe. I am going to release my own album soon, where I'm playing every instrument. I'm doing everything myself, from the keyboards to the guitars to the singing to the bass to drums to everything. So if you want to subscribe for more videos and for updates on that, by all means, leave a like if you want, and that's gonna be it. I try and do a lot of videos on artists that can use some more recognition, artists that I feel like or albums that interest me, that aren't exactly in the mainstream, and also artists that I feel like are getting a bit lost to time and deserve a second wind and, should be remembered a bit more. So if you want to expand your musical palette, I listen to and review pretty much everything you can think of, or at least I'm going to try to. Yeah, it's going to be it. Thanks for watching.